Cannabis, marijuana, reefer, pot, weed, call it what you want. It's been around since the beginning of time. It's been around in both Indian and Chinese pharmacopoeia as a medicinal plant, and only reached Western consciousness with the publication of a study done by an Irish doctor named William O'Shaughnessy. So you would think that this plant that's been around forever would have had all of its effectivity and applications increased exponentially. Sadly, that's not the case. In the Philippines, it is still classified as Schedule 1 illegal, which ranks it in the same category as that of shabu, or meth.
My understanding about Philippines is that marijuana has been growing in the Philippines for a very long time. My understanding is you have a fairly punitive policy. My understanding is you have some of the worst policies on drug testing in the world. The reasons why some drugs are legal and others not has almost nothing to do with the relative risks of drugs, and almost everything to do with who uses and who is perceived to use particular drugs. When opiums were widely used in the United States primarily by middle-class white women, nobody thought to make it illegal. But when the Chinese came to the United States in the late 19th century, working on the railroads and mines with their opium traditions, that's when you saw the first prohibition. The same thing with cocaine and black people. In the United States, the origins of marijuana prohibition were all about racism against Mexican Americans and Mexican migrants, beginning in the early part of the 20th century.
We have to look back again to the 1930s in the United States and a man named Mr. Harry Anslinger, who was in charge of the Bureau of Treasury's Federal Bureau of Narcotics, a division in the United States government that was in charge of the prohibition of liquor. And since the prohibition was lifted, he needed to find a function for his office, an excuse to exist. But also, simultaneously, down south, racial tensions were rising at the border because Mexicans were crossing over illegally to take jobs as laborers because they were willing to work cheaper than the average American worker. His new target was those pesky Mexicans and all of their reefer smoking. So he took the extra money left over from the Prohibition campaign and marched off to Hollywood and commissioned grand and national studios to create a film that would demonize marijuana. And his campaign did not stop there. He brought it all around the world. So by 1961, during the UN Single Convention on Narcotics, the Philippines, being a former colony of the United States, readily accepted this provision. And all of this was done at a time when marijuana, or cannabis, or weed was still being freely grown throughout the United States and the Philippines. So we can see that this ban against this plant is rooted in racism.